guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Sian. If you're new here, I'm a graphic designer and I like doing shit differently on my own terms. So I thought I would make a video today and share a little bit of my story of like how I got into the world of design and like where I am now. So just for context, like where I am now is like I've been self-employed as a designer for like 10 years, just over 10 years, working with a lot of people in the coaching world. I also have a studio now called Good as Gold where I sell templates and other stuff. So yeah, I've probably shared this in like different forms in different places, like on Instagram and emails and stuff over the years. But it was an idea that I had for a video, and someone also mentioned that they would like to see, hear like the full story, so I thought I would put it in a video. So, I guess it started like, I've always been creative, like I think even as a kid, just like painting and sewing and like drawing and photography and stuff, like all of that has always been like in my world in some format. And I think in terms of like graphic design stuff, I feel like it started when I think my brother is a couple years younger than me. I think he got Photoshop somehow. I think he was also like into all kinds of stuff. Somehow, for some reason, he got Photoshop. And I think when I started messing around with that, I don't even know what age this was. It was like high school, like teenager, like before I really kind of knew what I wanted to do. So yeah, I started messing around with Photoshop and I was like, this is kind of cool. That was like my first kind of introduction to graphic design. And I'd also just always loved magazines. Like if you saw what my magazine stash used to look like when I was like a teenager, like everything, like Cosmo, Dolly, all that bullshit. Like it used to be, once I kind of started to figure out that I really like design, like my dream job was like creative director or like head of design for one of those magazines. Because for some reason layout design was like the coolest shit to me. So there was like those few things all around the same time, I guess. And then, yeah, like in school, I went to like kind of a small school in New Zealand, and we didn't really have like a design class specifically. So I did like all of the creative ones that you could do. Like it wasn't like an architecture class, like it wasn't even close to that. In high school, it was more like tech drawing or some shit like that. And I also did art class, which is like very traditional art, just like painting and drawing and stuff. That was kind of it. Like there was a media class, which I think would have been fun, but it wasn't like super creative. It was more like, seemed like journalism style stuff, which wasn't my bag. So, I think that was when I was starting to realize that like graphic design specifically was what I really wanted to do, and my school just didn't have anything like that. So I actually ended up leaving high school a year early because when I was at school, we had like the career counselor or whatever that you usually have. So I went to see her and she kind of helped me figure out that I could get into WinTech in New Zealand. If I left, like I got all the credits and stuff, so I ended up leaving a year early and going straight into study my bachelor's degree in design, which ended up like, that's still like hands down one of the best decisions I've ever made, was leaving high school early, because at that point I kind of didn't like it that much. I was just over it in like every way possible, and it felt like a waste of time especially when I knew that I wanted to do graphic design, and there was nothing there for me anymore. So that was freaking awesome. So I went straight from there into study graphic design, which also meant I think I was probably like the youngest one in like my first year of classes, at least. I feel like everyone else, because like most other people were either fresh out of like actually finishing high school, or like just all ages of different people, which was really cool because I think I kind of got sick of just the bullshit of high school. So going into somewhere like Wintec, where there was just all these different people of like ages and from around the country and like all these different places, like it was just so cool to me. So yeah, I did it's called a Bachelor of Media Arts, majoring in graphic design. So that course was pretty solid. It was kind of like the fact that it wasn't like 3 years of straight graphic design. So the first year it was kind of hard because I think me and there was some other people that I met, like we knew going into it that we wanted to do graphic design, but the first year you don't focus on anything. You kind of just do a bit of everything, like really traditional like art classes with like sculpture and painting and all kinds of shit. And I think throughout, I don't even remember exactly, but like across the 3 years we also had to do like some marketing classes. Like I remember going to lectures and stuff, which seemed kind of random, but we did it. And then it was the second and third years where you specialized in whichever one you were going. So, and then also part of that, I did a lot of photography classes, which was really awesome. And I think that's probably, like I've always loved photography. And also like, I really like doing those classes alongside design, because I feel like in another world, maybe like far into the future, I think photography is something I would love to do more of. But yeah, design. So that was kind of like, before that I didn't have any graphic design, because like I said, there was literally nothing in my high school, so it was like all completely fresh to me. But it was pretty fun, like, yeah, it was solid. So that was 3 years, and then finished that, graduated from that, and that was in, I think I finished in 2009, so I was studying 2007, 2008, 2009, and at that time, I literally could not get a job in New Zealand. It was like impossible to get a junior design job. They just like either didn't exist, or they just got snapped up really fast, or the jobs that were available were just like shitty or like didn't pay anything. So at that time, I think I was on Twitter quite a lot. And somehow I'd met someone on Twitter, and I designed a logo for them, just like random freelance kind of on the side. Because they had like a side business. So I designed their logo for that, and then they happened to work at a appliance company in Sydney, and they were like, oh yeah, and they were like a junior marketing person, and they were like, oh yeah, we're kind of looking for a junior designer, like would you be interested in maybe coming over, or like was that a job you would even be interested in? And at that time there was no jobs in New Zealand, like I couldn't find anything, so I was like, oh fuck, like maybe I could like move to Sydney. So like very long story short, I flew to Sydney for like 1 day, maybe 2 days from New Zealand for like the job interview. Got the job, moved over. That was also my first time like moving out of home, because the whole time I was studying, I was living at home because it was just so much cheaper. Like my student loan would have been 50 times more than what it was, and it was also only like 30 minutes away from where I was studying, so that helped a lot. So it was kind of massive to move straight out of home overseas, whole new job, all this, just a lot of new shit. So that first job was low-key the worst job I've ever had in my life. I've told the story maybe a little bit on like Instagram or email. I won't like go into it here. It was extremely bad. Only lasted 2 weeks. The same day I was going to quit, they fired me, which was actually better because they paid me out. Like I got some money out of it so I could like at least just live for a few weeks while I tried to find another job. And then I ended up getting another job in Sydney for, I think I might have been there for like 2.5 years. Just working at a very chill, kind of like signage and production company. It wasn't like super exciting, but it was still like, at that time, I think I just was trying to find it, like, it was just really hard to get the kind of jobs that I wanted. And like this whole time, I always kind of, like, I'd always knew that as soon as I like found Photoshop and stuff and like started to figure that out, I knew that I wanted to be a designer. But at the same time, like, I had no idea the world of freelance existed. So right up until the second job in Sydney, that lasted maybe 2.5 years maybe. It was only towards the end of that job that I knew that I realized that freelancing was even an option. But all the time before that, I knew I loved design and I knew I didn't want to be chained to a desk. But I had no idea there was like this other way where you could do shit yourself. I was like, is my only choice that I like love design and I have to like sit at a desk for someone else? Like fucking 8 hours a day or whatever. But so the second job at Sydney, towards the end of that, I started, actually was it, yeah, it might have been towards the end, like maybe 12 months into it, 18 months into it. I think I just didn't feel very like creatively satisfied with the work I was doing because it was very like basic stuff. So at that time, blogging was kind of a thing. So I started a blog on WordPress, and at that time, like driving around and going on little adventures and stuff, like that's still my shit today. I love doing that. So I was kind of just writing about life and like posting photos from my adventures and stuff. And I don't even remember what my blog looked like, but like as a designer, I think I must have, like, I was obviously putting time into designing all these posts, and like everything that was going on there was like very custom design. Like, I don't think it was just, I might have just slapped up some photos, but I think there was a lot of custom stuff going on. And somehow, like, I don't even know how you found people. Like, maybe you also, if you're like on a similar sort of timeline, or you remember this time as well, somehow you just like find other people that were like also bloggers, like writing about cool shit. So at that time I was also, so this is when I was working the job that I wasn't like super jazzed about, started blogging for like something else to do and have fun with. And then other people, mostly a lot of people in the coaching world, started to see, somehow I just like came across each other's like blogs. I think at the time I was kind of writing a lot of my like discoveries and things I was thinking about just in the world of like self-development, of like self-reflection and stuff. So at that time, I guess, I found a lot of coaches, like life coaches. That's kind of when that whole world started to blow up. So I started coming across quite a few of them. And then they, at the time, like they were just kind of starting their businesses. So they would hit me up and they'd be like, hey, like I like your shit. I see you're also a designer. I really like all the stuff you're designing on your blog. Like, can you do me like a logo or website or whatever? So I kind of started picking up clients that way. Just on the side, like just freelance clients. And at that time, that was the first time like it had really crossed my mind that like you could start to like do that as like a legit business. because I think they still do this now in like some traditional schools of design, like, and a lot of people have said this, and like friends have said this, like, especially at the end of the course, the bachelor's degree that I did, they didn't really help us at all when it came to the real world. Like, there was no help with portfolios or finding work, and like, don't even fucking mention the word freelance. Like, that was like the worst shit you could do. So like, that never occurred to me because like no one would ever mention it in design school. For whatever reason, it just seemed like they didn't want to help us in the real world, portfolios, or even like an extended thing after the degree had finished. Like, there was no option for anything. And so yeah, when I was getting these freelance clients, it started to hit me that I was like, I wonder if this like could be a thing. So yeah, at that time I was kind of starting to really not cope in my job with like a lot of things. And long story short, I got to a point where I literally couldn't do it. Like, I kind of got to like breaking point of like almost snapping, and I quit. I was like, I can't. It was killing me. Like, living in Sydney is somewhere that it's like sunny and warm like freaking 90% of the time. It's not like Queensland where it's like all the time, but like Sydney is pretty, at least when I lived there, like it was sunny and nice like all the time, and it was just like killing my soul to go to work and like sit in an office for like 8 hours a day and just look out at like the world I was missing out on, basically. Like, that's what it felt like. So yeah, I think I got to the point where I had started picking up enough work, and like, it wasn't like a long-term plan. I was like, okay, I have like these few clients. I had maybe like a few months planned out of work, and I was like, fuck it, I just got to do it. So I did it, and that was February 2011, I believe, is when I ditched that world and haven't looked back since. So, like I said, I think in those early days, like, and even now, a lot of my clients have been from that coaching world, because I think in those early days, that's when it really started to pick up. So then I had like a handful of like big name clients that had massive audiences. Like, I didn't even know this world existed, but these really amazing clients had like created this whole business with these massive audiences. And I would help them design stuff like websites, ebooks. I think ebooks, in the early days, I designed so many ebooks, like PDF ebooks. That's when like those really took off. So that's kind of how it started. And like everything has always been built on word of mouth, really, because especially those, like, once you kind of have like a few big name clients, and like when they launch stuff or whatever, like they would share it, or like my name is like on the bottom of their website, or I would be stoked to share it too. So like I would share it on emails, Instagram, wherever, and like they would reshare that and be like, hey, this is my designer Sian, she did all this cool shit for me. So then it was like, I can't say I haven't ever done paid advertising, because I might have tried it a couple times, but for the most part, like literally 10 plus years of business has all been word of mouth, which has been pretty rad, just because I feel like the people I've gotten to work with, they all do really cool shit. So that's kind of the gist of how it all started. And in those early days, like I said, there was a lot of like ebook design, a lot of like fully custom WordPress website design. That's also back when courses really started to take off. And I think that's how I kind of found a lot of clients found me, was that maybe there was a couple big names. This was like when Marie Forleo's B School kind of took off. And I think someone that I worked with, like, posted my name, like, in one of the Facebook groups for the B School. And that just, like, took the fuck off, because, like, a few people saw it and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to hit this chick up. So I think that, like, the world of B School got me a lot of clients in those days. And a lot of like fully custom WordPress membership sites. I remember designing a lot of those, which, like, a lot of these things are kind of shifted now. Like, no one really does like fully custom ebooks or fully custom membership sites. Like, that's changed quite a lot. So it's been kind of interesting, like, when I think about all the stuff I've designed and how this, like, entire landscape of coaches and, like, online business in general has shifted in the last 10, 11, 12 years since I've been, like, kind of in it on the outside of the coaching world and stuff. It's pretty wild. So yeah, that's the overall vibe of how everything has led me to where I am now. In that time, I definitely had, like, some points of, like, burnout, and just, like, not feeling like I knew what I was doing, or, like, just frustrated with a lot of things, and just wanting to, like, shift how I do things. So, like, there could be a bajillion other videos about all the things I've learned in those times. I think I might do, like, some separate videos of, like, the top things I've learned about, like, running a business and shit like that, in that time, because there's, like, so much I could talk about. So yeah, these days, I've kind of evolved what I do into Good as Gold Studio. So that is, I used to do everything, like, all of my one-on-one design work used to be under my own name, and I used to have Good as Gold Studio, which was, like, templates and courses and stuff, but now I've merged it all into one place. So literally everything is under Good as Gold Studio. So I kind of focus on, I have a template shop where we sell Squarespace design kit templates, Canva templates for, like, social media and stuff. There's also a couple of Adobe XD versions of those same templates. And then we also launched a Notion client portal template. I launched that recently with my designer, Jade. She's a freaking Notion wizard, and that has been really awesome. So I have the template shop and Good as Gold. You also have a new membership, a new Squarespace and design membership for designers. So a couple years ago, I created a Squarespace design course and kind of brought together everything I know about graphic design and Squarespace, put it all into that course, and now I've evolved that into a monthly membership. So there's, like, that includes the course, and it also has a bunch of, like, fresh content every month about the world of design and Squarespace. And then I also have the one-on-one side of Good as Gold, where that is where we do, like, full branding and website design days, like, sales page design, long form Squarespace sales page design for, like, big courses and offerings and stuff like that, and just any other, like, one-to-one design services. So pretty much all of these things under Good as Gold is mostly just me. I don't have any business partners or anything like that, which is kind of how I like it. I do have, like I said, Jade, my designer. We collaborated on the Notion template, and then she also works with me on some one-on-one projects now. So that's kind of like where I'm at now. And it's going pretty rad. I really like doing a mix of all these different things. I think I just like having different stuff happening, so I'm not doing the same shit all the time. So between like the templates, the membership, and one-on-one, there's like a good variation of different projects to work on. But I think that's kind of it. That's like, how long is this? Like 25 minutes? Yeah, that's kind of how I got to where I'm at now. And like I said, I might do some like future videos about really more specific things I've learned about like business and running a design business, being a creative in the last 10, 12 years, because there's a lot I could share there. But if you have any specific questions about like any of the story or anything like that, let me know in the comments and I'll check them out. And yeah, I'll put the link to Good as Gold below if you want to check it out. If you like the sound of any of those things I mentioned at the end, come check them out, because I would love to have you in the squad. So yeah, I think that's it. And see you soon. Have a good one.